Hello everyone and welcome back to another UI Samurai video. This time we are going to be redesigning Eurofilm launches. This website provides a service for users to know when indie films are going to be released, mostly inside Europe. How the website works is pretty straightforward. You can search for a specific movie title, or for a distributor or a country, and also define a date range for the results you want. And below you get the results displayed in cards where you can see the movie poster, the title, the release date and the distributors. I can see a lot of improvements that we can do here to make this interface more interesting and usable. So let's get started! I have the interface recreated in Figma, so we'll be redesigning over it. The very first thing I noticed when entering the website that made me a bit confused was the background image. I am not sure if this image is from a movie, but having an airplane on it can be a bit misleading at first glance. It could be used for an airline website, for example. So let's remove the image, but keep the same colors used in this linear gradient as a background. We are going to set to 100% the opacity of the gradient and reduce the lightness, so we can have more contrast to read the text. We can also change the direction of the gradient to make it more visually interesting. When we enter the website, most likely the first thing that we read is the big search headline. The text alone does not tell much what exactly I'm researching for or what is the purpose of this website. So let's replace it with something more meaningful but still short, like find film releases. This reflects what the user will get from using the website. Notice that there is a link how to use the site in the menu, which explains to the user how to interact with the page. I think we can kill this page if we add a short subtitle below the heading with additional information on what the website does and how it works, so we can keep things clean. We also add a small drop shadow on all text to create more contrast with the background and enhance the legibility. This is starting to look better. Let's move on and take a look at these three drop-down menus. We can see that it's missing the labels of the drop-downs. This forces the users to remember what each drop-down stands for, which is not good. So let's add the fixed labels and also some styling. We are going to increase the height of the drop-downs and apply the same blue color from the gradient in the labels. The font used here is Arial, but we are going to replace it with Brandon Grotesque, which is the same font family used in the whole page, so we'll keep things consistent. When the page loads, it shows by default all movies, all distributors in all countries. So let's make the users aware of that by putting this information as a placeholder. The arrow is too bold and the color does not match with the rest of the interface, so let's change to something lighter so it will fit better with the other elements. And finally, let's update the two placeholders, as we mentioned before. Alright, so what is left here in the header is the date picker. So let's take a look at it and see how does it work today. If we open it, we can get predefined date ranges to select from, or we can select a custom date. Let's go with the assumption that users most likely will select a predefined date range. We can explore a bit more, and instead of hiding the predefined dates inside the date picker, we can display them just above the results. So we are adding each date range and leaving some space between them, because they're gonna work like buttons. And let's add this underline to the selected one. This will make it more explicit to the users, and we can also get rid of the date picker from the header. We can see right now that we have a lot of empty space. So let's decrease the heading size and also center the three drop-down menus. We can place the drop-downs in between the header and the result section, just to be more visually interesting and blend the two sections together. We can also change the body background to be slightly darker. That will make the drop-down menus and the cards pop more in the interface, since we are generating more contrast between them. And let's capitalize the first letters of the menu items. We have here a switch mode button. It makes me wonder what exactly does this mean. If we press it, it shows the results in a list instead of the cards. If you want to avoid moments like that, where the user has to guess what action will happen by clicking on a button, we can be more explicit and change the button label to reflect the outcome. In this case, let's change the label to list view and also add an icon for visual reference. So now we have arrived in the cards. How they're presented today it's okay, but we can always make it better. Since we are using rounded drop-downs, we should be consistent and apply the same style here. So let's add radius in the corners of the cards. There is some visual hierarchy here, with the text in different font sizes, but they still look quite similar to each other. But the first thing we can do is to set the date in a more legible format. Instead of using only numbers, we can type in the full month name or the first 3 characters. This will make it easier to read. Besides that, we can add a date in its own container with a darker background to make it more distinguishable from the rest of the content. Let's make the distributor font color slightly lighter than the title, since this is secondary information. Lastly, the drop shadow in the cards look too strong. Let's make them more subtle. In this view, we are displaying movies for October and November, but they are all together. We can add dividers in order to group movies per month, which will help to organize the content into clear sections for the user. So we are pretty much done here. Let's compare the original interface with the redesigned one. Let me know what you think about the result, and if you have any questions about the process or have any suggestion, please just leave a comment. And if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more redesign cases like this, please share the video with your friends and subscribe to the UI Samurai channel and join the newsletter. Thanks and see you in the next video!